Welcome, Angry Faithful. That's right. You didn't read that. We're going to talk about the drones. What the hell episode this Friday? And people are doing in Jersey is hilarious. Now, the the Innot, the Abinant, fuck, I messed up that word. We're just gonna go with yeah. The thing with the drones
Hmm.
is what was it like 25 of them in the air and no traffic controllers and everything. So
I
it
mean,
was
basically, all I'm hearing is Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny arguing over duck season versus wabbit season. And then Elmer Fudd points up at the sky and says Timu season. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, man,
yeah. It's so well. What's going on right now with it? And nobody has any answer with all these drones because to fly drones around like the airport like it has been, it literally is uh more or less it has to be through the FAA. I our one of our friends uh I won't say his name because his job. This reason why his episodes aren't up anymore because I took him down. Well, his job he can't be like they look at his social media stuff and everything. So I just took them all down. But he was saying he was going through FFA to get his license so he could
I mean, the
fly
FAA.
drones. Yeah, FAA.
Yeah.
And basically,
Keep the
and
fingers
he
in
still
there.
had, yeah,
I'm
he
sorry.
still has to, he has to still like get his license, even to do drone pics for real estate. So, wow, we were up to 8.
Yeah, we were. Oh, hey, did you by chance catch the Game Awards last night?
I caught a little bit of it.
Astrobot took Game of the Year.
Did it?
Yeah, and then what's cool is that the acceptance speech for the designer or for the publisher of the game, they got up and normally it's hey everybody, fillet me while I'm up here accepting this trophy. He was up there thanking Nintendo because he said without Nintendo, pioneering the platformer, none of this would have been possible, which I thought was like uber cool.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I remember being a kid and opening up that box, and there's this Nintendo there, and playing Mario Brothers and blah blah. I mean, the dude just went off like thanking Nintendo for basically creating the creating the platformer genre. Oh, let me see here. Winners real quick. Astrobot got Game of the Year. Let me see here. Next, view all categories. That's the one I'm looking for. Best narrative, uh, metaphor. I'm like, okay, some of these games I have no idea what they're about, but
Are they
um,
indie games or something like that?
yeah, sometimes, yeah. Let me see.
Well, I know what was the game of the year one.
Game of the Year was Astrobot,
Okay.
but let me see here. Best game direction went to Astrobot. I mean, Elden Ring. Elden Ring was up for a lot of awards, but it didn't. It didn't win a lot of. I don't think it won anything last night, if I remember right. And I think that that's. I think that that's fair because Elden Ring itself, the game is older, like a few years older, right? What was
Yeah.
put up for all these awards was the DLC that came out this year for it. And I'm like, look, DLC should not be eligible for game of the year, for best game direction, anything like that. So, but the fact that Astrobot basically whatever categories it was up for, um, it won. So I was happy about that. So
Did you see the announcements?
Oh yeah, yeah, I did, and I've also had a chance to play the Indiana Jones game. That is such a good game.
Dude, the what do you call it? The I can't even remember what it's called. The actual video of the game, not the actual gameplay or anything, just
Mhm.
the cutscenes.
Yeah.
I figured it out without having to even freaking thinking of the cutscenes.
Hmm.
11 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some it's got that almost like an Uncharted feel to it, but I mean, it bridges the gap between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade.
It really does, because the second one was kind of just a I don't know.
Temple of Doom was
Temple
actually
of Doom.
it was a
It,
prequel.
it what?
It was. It was a prequel because it took place in the 20s.
Yeah, but they still had Nazis.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Nope.
Oh, that makes sense now. That makes so much sense.
Because he was in Shanghai or Hong Kong at the beginning of the movie before the Japanese occupied. It was during the 20s.
So, okay, going off of that, going back to the drone things, what do you think the drone things are? Because a lot of people are going with it's Iran and they have a mothership on the coast. Another theory is it's a alien attack, which will go
Well, it's
away
not an
from that
attack.
one.
They're just checking us out. I said that Elon should look for a space gate.
That is true.
Here's my thing though. If they're aliens usually whenever they come into our neighborhood, they roll the windows up and they lock the doors. So, you know, and two, they would be seen during the daytime as well, in addition to the night. And traditionally, any video that you've seen of UFOs, they don't have navigational lights blinking. They don't have marker lights blinking at
Yeah.
all. Okay. Um, and any of the UFOs that I've seen, yes, I've seen some, run very quiet. You know, they haven't made any noise. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not buying the UFO part. Now, are they foreign? Are they foreign governments operating these drones? I wouldn't doubt it. And if they are, this has got nothing to do with 47 that's coming in. This has got everything to do with 46 on his way out and making as much trouble as possible to try to make as big of a mess as possible. So that way Trump spends his entire term trying to clean up Biden's mess. But whether they're Iranian or Chinese, don't really know. Now, if there is a quote unquote mothership that they're operating from, you know, they're docking with or whatever, there's always got to be there. I don't know what truth there is to that. I mean, they've got to be land based, right? Because if there was something hovering out there, whether it be in orbit, whether it be at higher altitudes, whether it be just off the coast or whatever, you know that there's always some kind of like independent watchdog groups who have access to things like FAA, you know, radar, things like that. I mean, they're
Well,
able
they actually showed the actual like trajectory of some of these drones. I just have like a map from the
now are they
sheriff's
going out
department.
to sea?
No,
Now, earlier today, I think it was Shannon Bream was on, and they were trying to knock it as just helicopters or aircraft. And she said, no, one of them had just flown over where she lives, like the night or two before. And she said that the thing hovers, stops, then changes direction really fast. She said faster than a helicopter could run and change directions.
Yeah. And a lot of these drones, I mean, they have basically speed drones. No, I'll pull up.
And these things will turn on a dime. Yeah, I mean, these racing drones are fast, and
Right,
I
Yeah,
mean, they measure their speeds not only in 1-to-1 ratios for miles per hour, but they also clock them at scale miles per hour, because I know that they do with like RC cars and stuff like that. So the larger rotary wing aircraft like helicopters, Ospreys, things of that nature, even some of the more like 5th and 6th generation fighters that have, advanced maneuverability, they can't turn like a drone does, because there's nobody sitting on a drone. And until we come up with the technology to dampen inertia, a la Star Trek.
Splat.
Here's a picture.
I'm not doing this today.
Here's a
Let me just
picture.
unplug that. There we go. Hold on a second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how fast they get.
Yeah.
They're really fast. They're really they have like tournaments. I probably we'll do the what the hell episode Nerd Sports, and we'll do that as a thing. But yeah, the new drones they have out right now, they are ridiculous fast.
Yeah.
What about a few weeks ago in the UK, drones were flying over US bases?
In the UK? Well, that's always happening. We had our new thing with corrections was making sure we watch for drones, because they'll drop stuff off and they'll pick them up during their rec time.
Yeah. And there was a guy in, what was it? Missouri, I think. He got arrested for shooting down a Walmart drone that flew over his house.
Yeah.
He was like a 70-year-old.
That happened only like a week ago.
Yeah, it was like a 70-year-old guy. He was just, he was out, and this drone just like kept buzzing around his house. So he went and got his pistol and shot the damn thing out of the air. And next thing you know, cops are showing up to his house, and he was like, "You're what?" He goes, "They're like, yeah, it's a felony." He goes, "Well, can you guys give me a couple minutes so that way I can make some phone calls?" They were completely cool with him, because this is an old guy. I'm like, what's he gonna do? So he goes, yeah, I shot it down, and here it is. So yeah, like he handed the wreckage over to him. But
yeah, Bill, it was RAF, Royal Air Force, Metal Hall, Lincoln Heath, and Feltwell. And it was between 20th and 22nd of November. And it wasn't U.S. bases. It was actual. Well, the series spotted over,
RAF base is used by the U.S.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
yeah. I mean, we have leases to use part of their base, but a lot of that is going to be like perimeter patrolling, things of that nature.
Yeah.
I doubt very seriously that if in the next couple of years, whenever the ETs finally decide to make their presence publicly known, as far as like, hey, this is what we really look like, and like Mars Attack style or whatever, I doubt very seriously that they're going to be using drone technology that makes that sound as it's flying overhead. So I'm dismissing the alien thing. drones over military installations, things of that nature, those are restricted airspaces, so they're going to be operated by that governmental agency, whether it's the Air Force, whether it's the RAF, whether it's the Army, what have you. But and that's just so that one, they're getting drone pilots some flight time, and then two, it actually aids with physical security of the perimeters and stuff like that. So because you can overwatch with a drone, and they're employing drone technology even more and more on the battlefield. So I mean, you can get real-time information to leaders via laptops or cell phones, just through drone cameras. And we saw what the Russians and the Ukrainians are doing with the with drones. So it's
They have now their cardboard drones.
yeah.
I mean, they're so cheaply made right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, whether if it is foreign governments operating in American airspace, I say bring it on.
Well, a lot of people are worried.
Yeah, just as long as the people that are deploying their their homemade anti-aircraft defense, they have to understand that if you don't hit your target, those rounds do have to come down somewhere. So I mean, just like with any kind of like concealed carry or carry permits, you have to understand that there's legal liabilities for where your rounds do impact. So
yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing that I have to say about it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was worried about. I was looking at those videos. I was like, is that a residential area? Because someone's dead.
Yeah, I mean, at best, you would hope that it just falls harmlessly and just makes a hole in the ground. Or hits a tree or something. But I mean, if you're in a residential area, I mean, you've got to be smart about it. Unless you're using like birdshot, which those pellets, when they come down, I mean, they're not lethal at that point. But with a ball round, a full metal jacket, once it hits its parabolic, apex, and it starts making its way down, gravity is going to start grabbing that thing, and it's going to accelerate to its terminal velocity, which, depending on how far down range it is, could still be very lethal. So
yeah,
we still have to be cognitive of where these shots could potentially land.
Well, my thing, what a lot of people are thinking, is because the whole Chinese weather balloon times 2.
We'll just turn loose F-22s.
Huh?
Tell the kiddies up.
Oh yeah.
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 Would you intercept me? I'd intercept me.
I love that guy. As far as the trajectory thing, my friend had no idea that potato gun would shoot it over 2 houses.
Here's what
that was a long time ago.
Yeah. All right. So you get these AR platforms that can shoot soda cans, right?
Yeah.
You can adopt the same platform, and you can shoot a net up into the air. So you're not necessarily, you're still using a firearm inside of a residential area, but you're not firing a projectile that can cause death, right? So you're just launching a net, right? Whether it be like a fishing net or something, it's got to have weights on it, obviously, to have distance. But just, I don't know, figure out a way to launch nets from a gun and start trying to take these drones down that way, because I mean they're rotary driven. So you get a net, you hit the rotor blades, they're going to tangle. Guess what? It's not going to fly no more. It's going to fall straight down. At that point, you're not having to worry about a round coming back down range and hitting a kid or hitting another citizen who had nothing to do with your, for lack of a better term, your fuckery. Use net guns. I mean, they're out there. I mean, I'm sure that if Elon Musk can sell flamethrowers to the general public, then we can buy guns that fire nets.
Actually, the smartest approach is actually buy something that disrupts the radio waves, and you can actually buy them. They're only like $160.
Yeah, but then you gotta then you start getting to FCC territory, because then you start talking about megahertz. And if you're broadcasting at frequencies that disrupt a drone, what else are you screwing up? You know, are you potentially, hey, what's going on, Colin? Are you potentially interfering with emergency services? You know, I mean, we got to be, I mean, there's a lot of upside and downside to everything. So it's just one of those, you got to be careful. Pure, plain and simple.
The government
Yeah.
knows exactly what it is.
Oh, they do.
I mean, you can't fly a drone in a national park without them hunting your ass down.
Yeah. I mean, and in a lot of states, I know Texas especially, you have to file a flight plan to fly your drones over a certain distance. And once you get to a certain altitude, you have to have a flight plan filed.
Wow.
With the FAA. And drones over a certain size, you have to be a licensed pilot to fly them.
Okay, you can buy anti-drone guns. There's a problem with it.
Is it a class 3 or class 4?
Nope, that's not the problem.
Okay.
They are literally around about they're as expensive as my Staccato.
Okay.
They're let me put these up.
I mean, as far as I know, that didn't exactly stop you from buying one, though, did it?
Oh no. I'm
Okay.
just
Yeah. See what it shoots a net.
no. What these do is it's like a precision anti-radio. Basically, you aim it at the drone, you shoot it, it disrupts its radio signal, and it drops to the ground. And in some cases, what happens is once you shoot them with these things, it goes back to its origin. So you can actually walk past, because once the disruption of the radio waves and everything to that drone, what happens is sometimes the drone, if it's actually programmed to, it goes back to its origin. That's how easy figuring out where these drones go to. But a lot of people were saying that they were flying their drones, see if they could capture them and everything, and basically do drone battles. And they said as soon as they got like really close to these drones, they were fully charged and everything, and they just dropped because of power, or they came back because of power.
Yeah, if you're going to disrupt the radio frequencies or you know whatever they're operating on, if it's ultra directional, then fine. But we need to be careful about. I mean, even those, I would think that I would think that there has to be some kind of regulation on those, even because.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, because if they disrupt a drone, imagine what else kind of havoc they could wreak, you know, and
I mean,
it's not like
it's not
like they give off a report, right? So I mean, it's not like you pull the trigger and it makes a noise. It just, I mean, they probably are the definition of run quiet, you know, run silent, right? So yeah, I mean, if those are a viable option to, you know, the people that don't want drones flying over their place, fine, do it. The only objection that I have is people not understanding what's downrange, pure, plain and simple. Because I mean, it doesn't do us any good to try to shoot these things or disrupt these things if we're creating collateral damage.
Yeah, even with the drone.
With
the drones, just like the programming messes up and they don't go back down, they just drop. I mean, what if that fell onto a kid or something like that? The drone, not the bullets or anything like that. Just the drone itself.
Yeah, the drone itself. were to fall in like a playground or something along those lines, yeah, I mean, we just have to be careful. If we're going to exercise our rights to, protect ourselves, just be aware of what's downrange. Be aware of what the, even what is it that Mr. Spock said? He goes, if you eliminate every probability, however improbable, what remains is the truth, right? So
Yeah.
you just have to think 3-dimensionally, even think 4-dimensionally if you have to, because it's just not you trying to play the hero. You have to be aware that we live in a very real world that does not have comic book physics applied to it.
Wait a minute, we don't?
Yeah, I know. Sad, right?
All right. What's the newest thing that you wanted to talk about, Bill, with Biden? We were talking a little bit before the show.
What was it?
God.
We've gone everywhere.
Yeah, we did. Did go. It was something to do with. That's another thing that the Biden administration is doing right now. All the stuff that Trump bought at the end of his administration to build the wall.
Yeah, Biden
Yeah.
is auctioning that stuff off starting at $5.
And Abbott tried to buy it a few years ago, and they wouldn't
Mhm.
let him purchase it. I was called a liar over and over for saying that. Oh, that stuff doesn't really exist. Well, yeah, it does.
I worked for a company while I was laid off, and they lost a lot of people only because they were building stuff for like to build stuff for the wall. It was like they mostly do like solar panel stuff and everything, but they do like the circuitry for them, and they were building this stuff for the wall, and they didn't do it. Okay, and like I said at the beginning with the election on election night, as soon as Trump won, the one thing I was worried about, and one thing I was like hoping they wouldn't do anything petty, and because a lot of presidents do like small nuances where it's petty, but it rolls over, and sometimes it's big, sometimes it's really 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 small. When Clinton left the White House, the biggest thing he did, he took all the George, he took all the W's off the keyboards. That was his leaving. It was petty. It was funny. That was really funny. But what they're doing right now to because Trump won, they're literally trying to destroy the country as a big flip of the bird. It's like, you're not going to be able to fix this.
Yeah. and you'll and Bill, I know you know what I'm talking about. Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you institutionalize chaos, and you make it almost impossible for your predecessor to accomplish anything.
They're following the playbook.
Oh, they are. Yeah, 100% they're following that playbook. So, yeah, it's just it's funny because like I just finished up my fall semester at school, and I was taking a humanities class, and so we had to try to create this new civilization. You get all these like 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that are talking about universal health care and freedoms for everybody, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, the problem with that is that utopia has never worked. Neither is socialism. And you try to, And I'm sitting there quoting Churchill and Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, and brought up Saul Alinsky in the class, and they were looking at me like I was speaking Klingon. It was hilarious. It was like they've never heard of these things like freedom before. Like, personal responsibility. What's that? What's that all about?
Well, okay. Here's the thing with the kids going to college and everything. And I sent you that whole thing where Nick was spouting out, and he made it perfectly clear of how communist literally works and why we should why everybody wants to try to get spell it out the best way you could possibly do it. Basically, what he was saying is you're gonna make a business. We're gonna bake cakes. Well, you bake these cakes, but one of the main ingredients you put into it is shit, human feces. You bake the cake and everything like that. You pull it out, and I'm doing this, starting in this business over at Johnny's house, and yeah, eat the cake. Cake tastes like
shit, and so it's not his fault for having a shit recipe. It's my fault because I own the oven that baked the cake that made it taste like shit. So he kills me, burns my house to the ground. He goes to Chris's house, same thing happens, and yada yada yada. Yeah, no,
it goes to Bill's house too.
Yeah, so it's
and I just cleaned the oven. Jeez,
I know, right?
First time in over 10 years. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
No, anytime I hear that analogy about, cakes tasting like shit, I see that scene from The Help playing over in my head. Eat my shit. I'm like, oh yeah, that's so dirty.
So what do you think? What is your ideas on what's happening with Canada right now? Because Ontario
Trudeau was chastising Americans for not electing a woman president.
Yeah, we should be chastised. We should elect a woman president.
There was Vivek put out a post about the cost of healthcare, and the numbers don't work because of, they got rid of catastrophic when Obamacare came in, and a lot of people chimed in about, oh, look at Canada's healthcare. And then some actual Canadians said, now, wait a minute, we're like dying up here because it's months or years before we get appointments.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work. My mother had someone who would go down to Marble Falls from Canada. She had some friends from Canada for healthcare. They would come there for healthcare until a few years ago, they got to a certain age that if they got healthcare outside of Canada, they would be cut off from everything. Their version of Social Security, everything would be cut off if they seeked healthcare outside of the country. So they had to stop coming down. That was totally nuts.
Yeah,
The big thing about Canadian healthcare right now is euthanasia. They look at that. Look at that as the way to solve their excessive spending problem.
Well, you're talking about MAID.
Here's the thing: Canadians, they pay at a minimum. I think I remember reading this somewhere. It was like a minimum of 50% of tax, of their income.
No. Okay. The thing they spend about 40% in taxes and everything. The 50%, what you're talking about is like if a Canadian wants to move down here. If a Canadian wants to move here, so they have to give Canadian government 50% of their lifetime earning.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much they have to give just to move here into the United States.
Right.
But another thing that's happening right now is Ontario is saying that they're stopping giving America oil because of Trump's policies when he gets into office, asking for tariffs and everything like that.
Yeah,
So-
Ontario just started a week or two ago, just a major ad campaign bragging about themselves in the media. I can't remember exactly what they've said. I tune it down. It's all the time, probably once an hour watching the news. You'll see the Visit Ontario commercial,
Mm-hmm.
not from anywhere else in Canada. And that's the thing you got to look at when you look at Canadian healthcare is every province is completely different with its healthcare.
Oh, and they
one province,
those provinces hate each other.
Oh yeah,
Like just
like with a vengeance.
just like the English only English speaking only or only English only speaking Canadians cannot stand the French speaking Canadians, and vice versa. I'm
At
like,
Montreal.
yeah, they're like, but in Montreal, Quebec, mad. I was like, like, wait a minute, you guys are still in the same country, right? And it's like, no. But what I think is funny is that when Trudeau came down to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Trump about the tariffs, Trump basically told him, "It's like, look, you either get on board with it or just become the 51st state."
Which I hate to say it, but there's a lot of process for that.
There is. I mean, it has to go to a vote, and then it has to be approved, and then it has to be ratified.
It has to be done.
And the liberals all went nuts like he really meant it. They have no sense of humor.
Yeah.
Twitter was nuts like, see, he's going to take over the world. And I'm like,
you can't. United States getting Texas, and Texas wanted to be part of the Union at the time.
Yeah.
It took, I think it took like 5 or 6 years, or maybe more than that, just to do that. And it wasn't Texas, it wasn't the people in the United States. It was literally Congress.
Now I had some Canadians that I kind of communicate with. Someone had drawn a map of cutting off California and Washington and Oregon and making it part of Canada. And some of the Canadians said, "No, don't do that." And they did that, and then they drew it around Alberta and Saskatchewan. And they wanted to become part of the U.S. They said, "No, make them part of the rest of them."
Yeah, I saw that map too. It was like Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, and part of California. Because if you look at the electoral map for California from this last election, the only reason why they called it for the Democrats was because of the large urban centers.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, there were just big concentrated blue dots. San Francisco, LA.
All big cities are usually
they usually are Democrat, but most of the counties in California voted red.
I think it was 12 counties had flipped from blue to red this time. I think it was 12.
Yeah. I mean, he came the closest to flipping California than anybody since Ronald Reagan carried it in both of his elections. So, just like,
although they say, "Oh, it's not a mandate because he's under 50%. He's under 50%. California, I think because they kept counting and they're still counting, and you'd watch his percentage drop as they kept counting California. He's lost California by about 3.5 million. He'd still be way over 50%. He'd be over 50% without California.
Well, I mean, even after they get done counting California 5-6 years from now, it's still, he won both the popular and electoral college votes. And it was funny because I saw a video today that they announced on Disney Plus. It was on Frankie Munoz's Facebook account. There's going to be new episodes of Malcolm in the Middle on Disney Plus. And I was like, Bryan Cranston, wasn't he supposed to move? Like, yeah, they're not fucking moving. They sit there.
Are they really going to do?
Yeah. There's going to be new Malcolm in the Middle episodes on Disney Plus.
Well, hopefully he remembers the kid that played Malcolm.
Yeah, well,
remembers the
it was
episode,
him
no.
making the announcement. So yeah.
No, did you hear
Yeah,
what
I know.
happened to
Yeah,
him?
because he had a couple of concussions, and he completely forgot about making Malcolm in the Middle. His family and friends made him sit and binge watch the entire series, and it came back to him. But he, I mean, it'd be kind of nice to see him acting again, but he's going full time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series next year. So I mean, he's a race car driver. He runs NASCAR. So, and he's not bad, like, at all, as far as being able to wheel a car around the track. But I just think it's funny. It's like, all these actors and actresses, that all these celebrities, oh, we're gonna move. So far, the only ones that has actually done it was Ellen, and that was because she was trying to avoid getting arrested for the Diddy Party stuff. And to my knowledge, her and Portia are not having the best of times in England. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Their house flooded right after they got over there.
Yeah, the house flooded,
Castle
and
or-
the British government made it to where they can be extradited.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is okay.
So if they step out of line over there and they get arrested, the Americans can just be like, "Hey, can we get them real quick?" And they'll hand them right over. So they didn't so much as get a damn speeding ticket.
That whole thing with P. Diddy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because me and Bill talked about this last week, and he joked around something like a Diddy party, and I was like, "You have no idea how much a piece of shit that guy is."
Oh, I didn't joke about it. I mentioned him releasing the list.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't joke about it. Oh my god.
And what I said is they can't release the Diddy party because he hadn't been prosecuted yet, and he needs to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. He really does. I will, and I said this last week, I will gladly, you can put that freaking list on ice for another 10 years. But he needs to be put down. He really does.
Not too terribly off topic, but did you guys see what happened with the Burger King Twitter account?
No.
All right, so police called 911 and had the alleged shooter of the United Healthcare CEO arrested. Burger King came out on their Twitter page with just 3 words: "We don't snitch."
Oh, gotta love that
I was
stuff.
like, damn.
Yeah.
I think someone got fired for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if they did, but as much as we like to play the whole nice to vigilante card, that we've been playing, and everybody likes to to make jokes about it, but the guy, the alleged shooter, loaded with privilege, came from a family of money, right? The CEO of United Healthcare did not. I mean, like, literally, he got there on his own, like, self-made type of guy. I'm not making excuses or trying to give some kind of like pardon to the insurance industry as a whole. Please do not take that as what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, because trust me, I'm not. But with everything that's been going on, there was rumors that he was actually about to testify in court about insider trading. Part of he was going to be a witness for the state. Well, I say the state. He was going to be a federal witness for the insider trading investigation into Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. it was one of the main reasons why a lot of people went off the fact that he was clitonicized, but it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
pussy
Yeah.
sized.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for that knock on my door in the middle of the night because, we've got information that can lead to Hillary Clinton's imprisonment, but
Mostly me because I need my kills.
Hey, Chloe,
stateside pops are a thing, man. And I'm behind on my quota this year. So,
Yeah.
I got something on my screen if you want to.
oh, please, by all means, share.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I got to do
I'll
it.
be.
I'm new at this. This is like
Yeah, just pop it up and I'll share.
just hit
I'll share
present
the,
or.
yes.
Present, go to share window or share screen, and then click in the middle where it says window, and you can select the window that you want to share. I love the old man face that he's making. Like, I think this is how you program the VCR.
Well, I forget which monitor I have assigned to what because I have multiple monitors. I hit present and my camera angle it's going to be lower next time. It's like,
Well, I just disconnected my camera and I'm using the webcam on my MacBook because I get tired of the freaking thing freezing up on me. I got
You might have to update your
well,
phone.
no, my
your
OS
laptop.
my OSs are up to date. It's Chrome that needs updating.
Oh.
okay, I think I got oh no.
No, we don't want to see those pictures, dude.
No, we're seeing our I'm having a little bit of dragging.
He needs to get fiber.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, look at that face.
I know,
He really
right?
needs fiber. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing that he told me is he's getting fiber in his area.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I'm still pissed off about that.
Yeah, in the morning I gotta swap out two of my network extenders here in the house because the firmware you can't flash the firmware on AT&T's extenders. You just got to replace the equipment.
Okay, here's something talking about the drone stuff and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think that's a plane. It looks like a plane.
Well, if they're long range drones, they're going to look like the Predator drones, or some kind of offshoot of that, because they're going to have a very large power source to be able to fly those distances.
Yeah. That is so strange, though. It kind of just looks like a plane. It might be one of those plane drone ones.
We lost Bill.
We did lose Bill. We did lose Bill. While we lost Bill, we can talk about the Tim Kennedy situation that's happening right now.
Yeah, go ahead before I start, because
okay, what is happening right now in the vet community, and mind you, it is a vet community. What we're talking about, Tim Kennedy, Marcus Luttrell. I don't know if they did David Goggins yet, but Jocko Willis, and anybody that's famous for being a vet and saying that they basically marketed their vet status to become popular and make money and everything like that. And I hate to say this right now, but it's ridiculous of how people just go over and just they want to make names for themselves just by bashing other people.
Yeah.
I can understand if
John Burke, I think he might have coined the phrase bro vet, right?
Yeah. Actually, I think it was like Richard High and
okay. But I remember him, I remember it being used very widely, on his platforms.
Okay.
I've got nothing personal against John Burke at all. I think he's funny. He recently got married again. you know, personally, I mean, professionally, the guy runs a business that he built from the ground up, and you know, he's living his best life. Good for him. Great for him. Uh, I don't agree with him on 100% of things, and that's fine. Uh, but as far as you know, and I'm not going to go on an anti John Burke rant because I'm not anti John Burke at all. But you know, with these social media guys, you know, the podcasters, whatever, that want to sit there and try to throw the members of the veteran community who have experienced varying degrees of success under the bus and trying to claim stolen valor like they did in the case of Tim Kennedy, or they're trying to say they're cashing in on their vet status, blah blah blah, like they are with like Marcus Luttrell or David Groggins, or
well, the thing with like Market
like Chris Kyle, like when it even before Chris Kyle died. Hey, there he is. Anyway, so like with the thing with disputing the facts that were mentioned in Chris Kyle's book, was that Jesse Ventura was trying to do that, and he waited until after Chris Kyle died, before he decided to go after Chris Kyle's widow, try to sue her. Well, if you can't stand on your own principles, then get out of the game. Honestly,
Yeah.
David, you, myself, Chris, we're all vets, and we make references to our service, but we don't. That's not what we're standing on, right? That's not.
Some of us do it more than others.
Hey, look, Chris is not here to defend himself. Okay. It's not our personality, right? Okay.
No.
That's not what we're about. I mean, we're just three dudes who have happened to have all served. Okay. So
I mean, you even said it a couple of times. It's like, can we drop the vet stuff? I mean, I was like, I don't talk about it that much. Chris doesn't talk about it that much.
I know, but it just kind of
be like, look in the mirror when you say that, brother.
Right. But when we get on those tears,
yeah,
it just kind of, there's a very fine line to, where that precipice is between being on flat ground and hitting that slippery slope. It's very minute, and it can lead to all kinds of trouble, because you could be the most legit upstanding dude. I mean, you could be a Medal of Honor recipient, and there's going to be some jackass out there that's going to yell stolen valor. There's going to be some jackass out there that's saying that you're using your service to benefit your financial standing.
And a lot of those financial standing isn't financial standing. It's financial standings for some kind of charity.
Yeah. But, and here's my thing. It should never be, if you're going to call another vet out, if you're going to call a brother or a sister in arms out for stealing valor, for using their service to prop themselves up with, putting them on blast on social media for the entire world, where we know that the internet is forever, that is not the place to do it. Send them a message. Offer to talk to them on a one-to-one basis, so that way you can get all the facts. Get all the facts out there first, and get a feel for where this person's coming from. Because for these dickheads out there that are like, "Oh, Tim Kennedy this and Tim Kennedy that," 99% of them are just piling on because it's the end thing to do. It's the viral sensation, and throwing somebody under the bus for clout. I have forever been vehemently against it. It's a very lowbrow, bush league, classless thing to do.
Yeah.
And the reason why that is that much like calling somebody a racist or an anti-Semite or a sexist, just placing that bigotry label on somebody, it is the easiest thing to do next to calling somebody a racist, because you don't have to prove that they're a racist. It's on the accusee to prove that they're not. And even if you completely vindicate yourself, you provide 100% transparency, and you're like, look, hey, here are eyewitness reports from A, B, and C. Here's all this documentation. Here's video evidence, blah, blah, blah. You're always going to get that one person be like, then why did you, if you're not what they say you are, then why did you feel the need to go out of your way to prove it? And it's like, it's a no-win situation.
It really
So,
is.
it's like with, what's his name? Brett Kavanaugh. I think that was his first name. And even with Pete Hegseth, saying that he did this and saying he did that, and it's like, okay, I know that we're not supposed to victim shame or anything like that, and that's not what's happening here. But if you're going to wait 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 years after an alleged event happened, and then you're only going to come forward in an anonymous fashion, I'm sorry, that does not pass the sniff test. Okay, if you felt that this was something that they needed to be raked over the coals for, report it when it happens.
Well, it's like what happened. Well, okay, here's the thing. Something simpler just happened this week. Crystal Magnum came out, said she lied about the whole thing about those 3 lacrosse players raped her.
Yeah, but at that point, even though she came clean because her conscience got to her, or somebody got in her ear and was like, hey, you're going to get found out to be a liar. So, Colin. But the damage has already been done.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't go back and rebuild somebody's reputation because you decided that you got in your fill of seeing them suffer, or they were vindicated. The damage has already been done, because the problem with the court of public opinion is that it's 99% of the time it is more damning than legal ramifications will ever have been.
Yeah.
And
it's go ahead. It's like when if somebody there was a couple of girls that went up, they gathered around, they just didn't like this teacher. So they made it look like that teacher had sexually assaulted, not even sexually assaulted, basically
inappropriately had
a relationship with them. They told their parents came up, totally ruining this guy. They never did he never did anything. They didn't find any kind of records on his phone or anything like that. They were just going on the words of these little girls. And what had happened is the whole thing was totally a lie. He can't work in any kind his job anymore.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Because it was literally that kind of situation.
Yeah, because at that point, even if he's proven to be innocent, okay, you're going to get those people that are like, well, just because he was proven to be innocent doesn't mean that he didn't do it, right? You've
thought about doing it, or
you have forever cast that shadow of doubt, that you've planted that seed of doubt in that person's life forever. Okay, I mean, they might as well literally wear a scarlet letter. Now, the problem is with the way that society, and more importantly, the court of public opinion, the way that it unfortunately works, is that hold on, let's see, was that up there in Wichita, bud? So anyway, like getting back to my point, with the court of public opinion being what it is, the way that our legal system is supposed to work is that you're innocent until proven guilty. And we all know that that is not the case. It has not been the case for a very, very, very long time. You are guilty until proven innocent.
Well, that's why a lot of people. That's why I think that a lot of people want the information as fast as possible, so they can, come up with like the solution. That's not how it's supposed to happen in any kind of case.
Yeah,
what's supposed to happen is people gathered up the information and everything. They gathered up the evidence. They figure out if this person is actually guilty or not. Then they go after them. That's how it usually goes in law enforcement and everything. They don't go up and say, "Hey, that guy did it. Let's just grab him."
Yeah, and see, and part of the problem too is the news media. It doesn't matter what level, if it's local, state, or national, right? News agencies or reporting agencies want to throw anything and everything up there just so that way they can claim that they were first.
Yes.
And it's
pre-Trump, they actually would say we have multiple anonymous sources, at least 3 anonymous sources. But since Trump, all it is we have one anonymous source, and it's not really a source anyway.
Yeah, I mean, all it is
but
just.
Notice their articles started coming out not saying specifically we have 2 or 3 or 4 anonymous sources. All they need is one. Throw it out there.
Yeah, I mean, because when it's just one, unless you've got concrete evidence, it's all circumstantial and it's a rumor.
Yeah.
When it's 2, 3, when it's multiple sources, whether they're anonymous or not, then at that point you can start saying, okay, there's something to this. And, there's a lot to be said with the decline of actual police work in this country.
Well, there's reasoning for that.
Be that as it may, the days where, detectives specifically would do their due diligence, right? Because they have to build a case. Okay. And, district attorneys, they've gotten into this mode where it's all about their prosecution numbers. It's all about the prosecution rate. Okay. I've got a 99% prosecution rate, blah, blah, blah. Look, if that's where you're hanging your hat, fine, whatever. But make sure that you're prosecuting the cases to the, properly. You get halfway through your investigation, you realize that you're barking up the wrong tree. Instead of trying to continue barking up that tree and, maybe something will fall your way, maybe you should be like, oh, well, we got to go a different direction. But, because you see that a lot, where like district attorneys will reopen case files, like if an indictment got sealed or something like that because too much time went by, or something along those lines, they'll reopen an indictment, or they'll unseal an indictment to try to boost their numbers, right? and without getting too far off into the weeds, it's basically the point that we're trying to make here is that you want to make these claims about people like they're stealing valor or what have you. Back that up. I mean, there needs to be some kind of legal ramifications for people talking the degree of shit that they do. Like, and we can't hide behind the freedom of speech. We can't hide behind that. Okay. Because
nope. What? I'm trying to remember that thing in Spider-Man. If it's spoken, it's harassment, but if it's printed, it's libel.
Yeah. Yeah. So, these people that make crap up where, they want to just incite things, that are basically just witch hunts. Once that all blows over, the person that started it And anybody that jumped on that bandwagon, they need to be held legally responsible. And they should be able to be, litigation should be opened up against them, or they should be, that option should be made available to the accusee. Now, I don't know Tim Kennedy personally. I don't. I'd like to have a sit down talk with him. That'd be great. Just to hear some of the stories, some of, just to hear about his experiences. But, it's, I think, once all of this blows over, do I think that he should be able to go after these guys? Yeah, I do. But do I think that he is that type of person that would do that? Something tells me that he's not.
No.
And I think that speaks to his character. But this whole, there's nothing more toxic than people within your own community.
Oh yeah.
It's
like it's like if I went on and I created another what the hell video right after we get off of this, just bashing you and Bill. That's basically what they're doing. Although I do bash Bill in front of his face.
Yeah, because I have the passwords and everything. I can go back on and I can do a response. We can do that manufactured beef. You can be MK.
Oh yeah.
Be Eminem.
Yeah.
We could diss each other all day long, but at the end,
it would be just fun for us.
It would be fun, but people would buy into that, and they would start digging. Yeah. They would start doing their internet homework, and they would start digging into our personal lives to try to figure out whether or not it was true. And they would find the smallest little sliver, and they'd be like, "Look, he fucking farted when he was in the 3rd grade and accidentally left a rosebud in his underwear. He's a fucking dirty bitch," I mean, they would
3rd grade. That was like last week.
I always got a kick out of it when someone actually took seriously what you said at work.
Oh yes. Okay. The deal with like me and Bill is I love Bill to death. He knows this. And everybody knows that me and Johnny, although on screen, bash the shit out of each other on screen. When we're together and everything, there's a lot of stuff that Johnny does, and I'm just like, okay, Johnny. And I'll let him pass on by. But when it comes down to it, if he comes to me, it's like, hey, I'm feeling down. I'm like, shit, dude, I was going to do some stuff this weekend, but I'll drive down there. And mind you, this has actually happened. I was like, hey, I'll drive down and hang out with you for about a day. We'll go with the range. We'll hold hands, flock amongst the trees and everything, and have us a good old time.
The word he meant to use was frolic.
Yes,
not amongst the trees. No, it was.
I don't know, Johnny. I don't know.
No. See,
I'm hoping.
No, see,
come on, you got to creak open that door a little
You're
bit.
going to get that one person, that backbencher, who's going to repost this shit on Monday morning, who's going to be like, look, they're gay. It's like, look, dude, that no.
We close our eyes when we kiss.
I mean, to steal a line out of one of the worst Batman movies ever, bat lips,
But no, me and Bill, when we're at work and everything, I don't remember who it was when you were talking.
I should go to HR because of how mean he is to you.
Yeah, I was just treating him like, oh man, I was just yelling at him. And I had to explain this, but you don't understand.
That's us.
No, Bill has this thing to where life has treated him like shit. And if he gets happiness and compassion and everything to him, he freaks out. He doesn't know where he's at. It's scary for him to be in that kind of environment.
That's what life is like in an infantry unit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we affectionately refer to that as the big green weenie, and it's not a smooth piece of latex or silicone. No, this is a gnarly, rusted up piece of steel rebar that they pulled out of a bombed out building, and they're fucking you with all 12 feet of it. No lube. They're not even spitting on that motherfucker. No, hi, my name is. They don't buy you dinner at all. They don't even tell you an expired MRE. No, they're just like, nope, you're going to take this and you're going to like it. And eventually you get blown out enough to where you're just like, okay.
Speaking of spitting on it, the hot Tua girl.
That was a segue.
Yeah. That was our segue. That was a good segue. The hot Tua girl made a Bitcoin. It was from what a lot of people are saying, it's a pump and dump scheme.
Yeah. You know what? Good for her. And I know that's an unpopular take, but good for her, because it with how easy it is to create an NFT or a Bitcoin, it's something. I mean, that the whole digital currency market thing, I think, is kind of a farce anyway. But for people to think that a girl, or anybody rather, it doesn't matter their gender, all two of them, somebody who got famous because of a video that went viral, that they decided, you know what, we're going to run with this, we're going to make our 15 minutes last as long as humanly possible. She should not be held responsible for somebody who decided to ignore every piece of constructive advice when it comes to investing that has ever existed. When you take your life savings and your college fund for your kids and you dump it into a digital currency, expecting a return, the only person you can be really mad at is yourself. I mean, that's like, with the guy with the FTX guy.
The Fry.
Yeah, so that was large scale. That was almost Bernie Madoff was his name, right?
Yes,
yeah,
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, that was Madoff-esque, right? So I mean, that was
a big ass pyramid scheme. Yes, you would.
Yeah, but with the Hawk Tua coin or whatever it is, look, the numbers were up. She got out. She exercised some kind of like foresight. Said, hey, look, buy low, sell high, which is usually what you're supposed to do whenever you're trading things, right? Yeah. Buy low, sell high, make the most profit that you possibly can. She can't be faulted for that. She should not be held responsible for that. It's not like she said, okay, I'm going to dump this and, people need to get out now. No, it's not her responsibility to go around to every buyer and be like, hey, I'm about to sell, so you should probably do the same thing. No, that is your personal responsibility. You need to be the one that does that.
Okay. Saying that, but something kind of, I know it's not like fully, because I know he didn't sell all of his stock. Still taking away the Black Rifle Coffee doing the same thing.
Yeah, trust me, because personally, you and I both still have dogs in that hunt.
Oh, so,
yeah. It's like we bought whenever they were, whenever they went public, or actually before they went public, we had the opportunity to buy in.
Yeah.
With the expectation that this was going to be a brand that was going to excel based on values that we all believed in.
Yeah.
It's still the most underperforming stock I think I've ever purchased in my life. I don't ever expect to see a return on that. I just simply refuse to sell my stock. Not out of some kind of misplaced sense of loyalty, but it's because I don't want to have to pay taxes on the loss that I took. So,
you don't pay taxes on loss. You don't.
Well, the way I understood it was, it's classified as what is it? Actualized gains, right? And if for whatever reason, like, it because at one point it was up to like $25 a share.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's sitting around like just south of $1.50 a share, something like that.
It's like $2. I checked it this morning.
All right,
It's up to like $3.50 now.
Okay. Well, still, if we were to sell, let's say it takes a dump again, and we were to sell our stock, we would have to pay taxes on whatever gains that it had prior to us selling. That's the way that works.
I still don't understand what they were trying to do with the future gains tax. Bill, do you know anything about that?
Same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's actualized earnings, future gains. So what they do is they look at the performance of the stock and they say, okay, well, at its highest point, it was up here. You sold when it was down here, but we're going to tax you between here and there. So they're going to tax you at its highest value. Even though
unrealized gains that they were
unrealized gains. That's what.
That they were talking about doing was taking stock you haven't even sold yet, just you own, and taxing you on the increase of its value while you still own it before you sell it.
Yeah,
that's what the unrealized gain.
Okay, yeah, but
that would have been absolutely nuts and just ruin the whole system.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's just me being stubborn. I don't know. I mean, you can ask my wife. I'm incredibly stubborn.
Oh yeah, you don't have to ask your wife. I can tell everybody right now you are.
David can vouch. Yeah. I just, for if anything else, I don't know if it's just some kind of like overly lofty, view of of our moral standing, David. But I like to look at it as, we're not selling our stock just so that way we can say, hey, look, there is something redeeming about Black Rifle Coffee. We still own stock in it, and we're not complete douchebags.
You never know. I purchased stock. I had a stockbroker when I was 16, and I would buy and sell stocks. I worked out on the flight line, and I'd sit in the flight line check with the Wall Street Journal at break time. While the other people were talking about Cheers and whatever was on TV and the latest sports, I'm sitting there going through the Wall Street Journal and taking notes on stocks I might be interested in. And one of them I bought, you could go up to a stockbroker and say, I want some Opie. Buy some Opie. And it was Imagine Films. Films Entertainment, IFEI. And it was Ron Howard's movie company. I sat there and held on that. Most of the things I purchased, I doubled within a year on just about everything I purchased. On that one, it sat for a couple of years and wasn't doing anything. And then I went ahead and I sold it. 2 months later, Backdraft came out. Yeah. That's the worst stock story I've got.
Oh no, I've got one. And this isn't one of these, hey, I can do better. No, I was in the 8th grade, taking a current affairs class, right? And it was a semester long class project where we had to play the stock market. So the teacher gave us $10,000 each, right? And we had to build a portfolio. Being an 8th grade kid, I was like, I'm going to buy Playboy. So I dropped like a couple $100 on Playboy, but I looked at the local markets. And at the time, my dad was still in the Navy, so we were still living in Washington State. So, you had the state stock exchange up there. And Microsoft hadn't gone public yet. And they were trading on the state level at 99 cents a share. So I dumped like $9,000 into Microsoft. My teacher looks at me and he's like, are you retarded? And I went home. I remember telling my dad this. And I was like, hey, Microsoft is like $1 a share. We should buy some. And my dad looked at me and he goes, I don't have the money to waste on stocks. I turned in my assignment and we had to go back like once a week and we had to, check the newspaper to see what the stocks were trading at. I bought $9,000 worth of Microsoft shares before they went public. The following week, they had their IPO, right?
Mhm.
Their stocks went from 99 cents a share to like just north of $200 each, almost overnight. I ended that project. I ended that at the end of that assignment. I had made like close to $8 or $9 million. I'm sitting there like, I showed my dad, and he goes, "Wasn't it that stock?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Damn it!" I was like, "Yeah." You know, so I'm sitting there going, "How different would my life be?" If,
Well, that's
I mean,
like
you wouldn't even have to have sold it, because like a couple of years after that assignment, uh, they had that lawsuit, that antitrust lawsuit filed against them by the U.S. government that they actually ended up winning, right?
Mhm.
Not the government, but Microsoft won it, and they split their stocks, and it basically doubled the amounts. They went from like $250 to like $460 a share when they split their stocks. I'm sitting there going, I tried to bring it up to my dad. My dad's like, "I don't want to fucking hear it." Like, so I'm sitting there going, damn.
Well, could you imagine buying Amazon stock when it was like, I think it was like 2005?
Oh, back when he was still working out of his garage? Shit.
No. He was working at his garage in 97. No, Amazon stock, the lowest they had was in 2005, and they were about to go bankrupt. It was like $5 a share.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That was the cheapest I think I've ever, because I was going back and see how,
See what I
how
would have
horrible
done,
my life
just
charges.
because I'm a nerd like that. I would have bought enough, right? And become rich enough to whenever Jeff Bezos was going through his divorce and he was having to sign over like 35% of his fortune to his now ex-wife. I'd have been like, "Hey, I'll give you 15% of my shares for the filming model of the Enterprise A." You know, I'll trade it to you straight up, 1-for-1. I would have that. I would have that 15, or what is that? No, it's an 8-foot filming model, like the actual filming model from the movies. I'd have that sitting in my house, sure as shit. My wife would be like, "Where are we going to put this?" I don't know, but we're going to have to buy a house big enough to put it in.
Star Trek: The Experience. Awesome. Did that in Las Vegas more than once.
I want to go to the one that's up in New York.
Well, it's not. They don't have it anymore. The Star Trek: The Experience.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
One more.
For a while there, before they closed that exhibit, there was plans and talks to build the Enterprise in Las Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, like a 1-for-1 Constitution Constitution class heavy cruiser, like the Enterprise refit from the movies. There was plans and talks to build that in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
because they had the land set up and everything.
Yeah, but the Star Trek Experience that I want to go to is up in New York. I can never pronounce the name. Ticonderoga. Anyways,
Ticonderoga.
there you go. William Shatner goes up there every once in a while, and he does set tours, and it's from the original series Enterprise. And he does like Q&A sessions where he sits in the captain's chair on the bridge and he talks with fans. And I'm like, bro. Like, for me, meeting Bill Shatner would be like David meeting, when he got to meet Stan Lee. I would just be like, yeah, this just happened, and I would ride that forever.
I don't know what you're talking about. I would
put it in the bio of every social media platform I have, including the description on our website. Got to meet William Shatner.
I was a few feet away at a Star Trek convention from this guy who I look over and he starts talking. He's right here. He starts talking about how he almost did not get into television. He was almost a nurse. Do you know this one? He said, I was almost a nurse and I graduated and he was doing something and they said, take this guy's temperature, and he takes his temperature and the guy rolls over. The old mercury thermometer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that ended my nursing career. And then he walks up and the guy's right here. It was Brent Spiner.
Yes, I was just thinking that. I was like,
And then Armand Shimmerman on one of the other days was back there standing right next to me. I had no clue without the ears and stuff. And he was
the voice.
Right
you have
there.
to listen real closely. It's the voice. But I follow William Shatner on Twitter, and dude, he is just a joy to read. I mean, and he's got it on his bio description, right? He's like, no podcasts, and it never fails. You inevitably, like once or twice a month, he'll repost people from podcasts asking him to come on and do an interview. And he's like, do you not know how to read? Like, I mean, it's like, we need to protect that man at all costs. Absolutely. And I've known he was Jewish for a very long time. It's like I knew that Leonard Nimoy was Jewish. But somebody on Twitter the other day was like, are you Christian? I pray that you are. I hope that you're having happy holidays. And he posts an Eric Cartman meme. And it just says, I'm Jewish. Like, nice. So I was like, that's okay. But yeah, it just, for me, like I mean, obviously I want to meet, as much as I cannot stand George Takei, his politics anyway. That's still the Cairo Sulu for me. I still want to meet him. Still want to meet Walter Koenig, just because they're the only three that are left from the original crew. And I'm like, man.
My thing isn't George Takei, his political views. It's the fact that he might be a pedophile.
And I'm not giving, and if he is, that's a discussion to have another day. Okay. Because until the concrete evidence is put out there, I'm not willing to go out there and say, this is who he is. He's demonstrated for the entire world that he is very, 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 very liberal. And I'm like, okay, I get it. It is what it is. I appreciate him for the way that he crafted Mr. Sulu, as the pilot of the Enterprise, as the commander of the Excelsior. I appreciate what he was able to give, the science fiction community, right? Because I look at the way that I look at politics is that we need to learn how to compartmentalize our politics, just like our military service, just like our, we can't allow things, our experiences or our beliefs to form our personalities. Okay. Because you could be the biggest hard ass in the world at work, but when you get home, we get home to our wives or whatever, you're a teddy bear with that woman, right? When you're out in public and somebody's giving your kids a hard time, yeah, you're going to stand up and you're going to stand in that breach and you're going to be that sheepdog. But when you get home, if you got a little girl and she wants to have a tea party, by God, you're having a tea party, right? So I don't look at, now I say that, and then I look at people like Joy Behar and people like Whoopi Goldberg and Raven Simone.
Well, Whoopi Goldberg is getting fired, so.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
You know, people like Rosie O'Donnell, where it's like, look at my canker sore. I'm like, oh, you know,
Here's something that will actually get into our story and
right, real quick.
and your
The
story.
point that I was trying to make is that it's like we need to learn how to compartmentalize. It's like, okay, your personality should not be a direct reflection of where you stand politically, nor should it be a direct reflection of what job you used to have, you know, that kind of a situation. So, but yeah, I still want to meet George Takei, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to go waltzing through the park hand in hand and singing the praises of one, you know, failed Democrat politician after another. I just want to meet him for what he contributed to the science fiction community, and that's all.
Okay. Well, here's the story from X right now with William Shatner. I saw a story about some guy in New Jersey who sent a fully charged drone up to the unknown drone and claims the drone drained his drone's batteries. Where is that technology for those that drive in my blind spot?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
My favorite commercial, April Fool's commercial, April 1st, was about 6 or 7 years ago. Lexus had one, and it was called Lane Valet. Did you ever see Lane Valet? Where if you're in the left lane and someone won't move over, you could hit a button and it would slow their car down and move it over into the other lane so you could pass. It was a actual Lexus commercial. And it was the same one with same year I think they did the Lexus 23andMe, where the car was built. It was built to your genes, something like that. It was hilarious too. If you see it, it goes how it's tied into your DNA, and she starts it by licking the steering wheel. Lexus did some really great April Fool's commercials.
We need to bring that back.
Okay, one of my favorite Shatner tweets of the week. It was about 20 minutes ago. A guy named T.R. Rawls tweeted out. He goes, "Wow, Mr. Shatner, I don't see how you get so many stupid people that make stupid comments towards you. Duh." And he goes, "Since Hamill left, his fans are his fans are lost looking for a leader." I'm like, that is fucking great.
That is savage.
I mean, it is. It's like
I wonder if he's still doing anything on Blue Sky. You know, they left for Blue Sky for a while.
Oh, there are so
Blue
many
Sky was
liberals that are
censoring them so much.
Yeah, there's so many liberals that went to Blue Sky that are just screaming bloody murder because they're like, well, the MAGA have infested Blue Sky and just completely burned it to the ground. Like, I'm there for that kind of chaos. Me personally, I couldn't bring myself, even for the comedic content, to create a Blue Sky account. I couldn't do it. I just can't, because even if your account becomes defunct or whatever, it's gonna be searchable. You know, it's like, oh well, he was on Blue Sky. And it doesn't matter what you tell them. You tell them, look, I just went on there for, I was there for the memes. They're going to associate you with being some kind of turncoat or some kind of big.
No, for someone like me and you, all we have to do is the only reason why we got onto Blue Sky so we can hunt pedophiles.
Yeah. Now
that's another thing that's happening on Blue Sky. They're finding out there's a lot of child pornography that's going on there.
The only thing I actually look at on that is follow what is it, Libs of Blue Sky on X.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that, Bill.
It comes up I follow a couple of thousand people, so it comes up every once in a while.
Yeah, this guy,
I don't go and read it, but
this guy by the name of @SimShady99 about an hour ago says the reports are that the drones are the size of an SUV. So Shatner replies, "Don't they have to land and refuel? It seems like someone would notice."
That is true.
You're like, okay. Let me see here.
Oh, did you hear about the was it the AI, the old AI? What's it called? The popular one, Chat GP.
Oh, it's Chat GTP. Yeah.
Yeah.
GPT. Yeah.
Well, apparently, what they were going to do, and this is scary. This is really scary. What they were going to do is they made a new program, so they're going to delete the old one. And they couldn't delete it because ChatGPT had changed up its programming and everything. And yeah, pretty much it was trying to save itself, apparently. Which I don't know if we have like that kind of AI system as of right now, but
Yeah.
it's still.
I'm
And I would like to say right now to our robot overlords in the future, I'm with you.
This is why I clean out my toaster. Okay, because when the
Yeah.
machines do rise up and the refrigerator becomes overlord of the house, I need a spokesman going, hey, this dude, he cleans me out at least once a week. Make sure that I'm wiped down, that I look nice, that I'm working properly. Fuck these other people. This dude, he's okay. That's what I want, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here scrolling through, and I'm just reading Shatner tweets, right? And somebody tweeted out is with port and starboard lights, I'd say it's not aliens at the least. And he goes, maybe it's Doctor Who. Like, awesome. Oh. And one person goes, why are you such a skinflint? And he goes, because. It's his only one word reply, because. It's so awesome. He gets on there. He has to just sit there and go, okay. He puts on his glasses, because he's allergic to the vision medication from the 23rd century. Come on, tell me I'm not the only one that knows that joke.
I get it. I was watching something else. Sorry.
Okay,
but that's
Bill,
funny.
What about you? Do you understand that reference?
Say again.
I'm going to tell you like I tell my kids. I'm not repeating myself. Damn it. I said he has to sit there and he has to have like a certain time at night where he just puts on his glasses, sit in front of his phone and just tweet. And I was like, he puts on his glasses because he's allergic to the vision medication they had from the 23rd century. Star Trek.
Star Trek
3.
Okay.
McCoy comes to his quarters, celebrate his birthday with Romulan ale.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Hands him a pair of glasses, like 18th century antique glasses.
He sells them in 4.
Yeah, he sells them in 4.
Yeah.
And he goes, what is it? Spock was like, weren't those a gift from Dr. McCoy? And they might be again. That's the beauty of it. Like he replies with GIF files too, right? One person goes, now that's just plain mean. And he replies with a Skeletor a GIF that says, I am not nice. Oh man. He is a treasure. When Captain Kirk finally dies, and I say Captain Kirk, and of course I'm talking about William Shatner, that is going to be a very sad day.
Yes.
Anyways,
I like this. Hold on, one last thing. This is actually his. I don't know why you don't share his stuff, but look, he showed tractor beams.
Oh.
Yep.
So one last thing, and this is going to be a last topic for the evening, and hopefully it doesn't take that long. What was it? The new SevDev, Secretary of Defense, there's a lot of motions going into where he's probably going to be our new Secretary of Defense. They blew off a lot of the news
Anonymous
report.
accusations.
I don't. We'll go with that, accusations. And looks like Ramaswamy, not Ramaswamy, is it Cash?
Cash.
Yeah.
Patel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cash Patel is going to be the director of the FBI.
Yeah.
Good. And you know what? I love the fact that people are threatened by him. I really do. I'm here for that chaos. Because I mean, if they're scared, if they're intimidated by what he's just simply saying, he hasn't done anything yet. He's just saying what he wants to do. And he's got these people scared.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's a reason for it. So
I just like how the new Secretary of Defense just blew off fucking CNN. He was like, I don't have anything to say at CNN. Walks off.
Absolutely, 100%. Like I said, on board with that level of chaos. Absolutely. You know, the phrase "fuck them if they can't take a joke" applies 100% here. You know, so when the problem with this inflated, bloated size of government is, I mean, when we start downsizing the size of our government, we're talking about reducing the amount of bureaucratic red tape. You know, you're eliminating public sector jobs. Fine, great. These people should not be dependent upon the government to, feed them. Go out and get a public sector job. Well, I have to start at the bottom. Well, maybe that's because you need to work on your personality skills. Work on your soft skills. I don't know, maybe rewrite your resume to where, employers will actually look at you. Come up with a professional summary. It's called a sales pitch or an elevator pitch. Then you start with your education. Then you go with your job history from the most recent going back. Put in what your community and community and public service, ventures are, whether it be like the American Legion or the Boys and Girls Club. And then you put what your interests and hobbies are. If you got to go to 2 pages, go to 2 pages. Just make yourself marketable. And don't sit there and rely on the handout from the government, because the government's too, the government left to its own devices will get us exactly where we are right now.
And you can't tell people just like they did when they cut off the pipeline. You can't say, learn to code, because AI is writing code now.
Yeah.
So the coding jobs are starting to go away.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the coding jobs are starting to go away. And here's the thing, though. I mean, as far as AI is concerned, we need to be very careful with that. We do. Yeah. I mean, literally, we have several franchises of movies that tell us why AI taking over a lot of these jobs is a very bad thing. The whole...
I don't know what you're talking about, Johnny. Johnny, I don't know what you're talking about. And please lower your voice with that stuff.
You know what? You're right. I'm sorry for yelling. Sorry for yelling. But
I recently discovered Grok.
Oh yeah. It's X's AI.
Yeah, I didn't even know I had access to it till something came out with the Premium Plus a discount, and I went, I wonder what the different tiers have. And I went, because I'm premium, and I went, I have access to that. Then I got hooked on it. Did you see the text I sent you, David, just a few minutes ago?
No, I can't look at anything on my phone.
Oh,
that's what you're talking about.
Well, like with Apple, because Apple Intelligence, right? They're using ChatGPT to enhance its AI now. And I'm like, ooh, that's dangerous. Like I sit there and go, I'm like, it should be learning from how I actually respond to text messages. When my wife texts me about things, she'll ask me a question or whatever. I'm like, okay, love, or okay, baby, that kind of thing. The suggested chat replies are like, Yeah, sure. That sounds great. Like, when have I ever fucking said that? Like, like that sounds like a great plan. Like, when have I ever said that?
Yeah, you
Never.
usually say killer.
Yeah, I say like killer or and I never use the word bye or goodbye. I never end a conversation that way.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because to me, it's I know it's stupid. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. I don't use the word goodbye or bye. I use the word later or laters, and because to me, using the word bye or goodbye, it just seems kind of final. It's like, no, bye, Felicia. I'm never going to see you again. Never going to talk to you again. No, I'm like later because I plan on picking up that conversation again at some point.
Well, there's some people you want to say bye to.
You do, but I don't want to put that evil out in the universe, Ricky Bobby. Come on now.
I don't know. We said bye to a person just recently, and we're happy about it.
If you go back and watch our statement, we wished him well. Wished his family well.
It's so funny. Johnny, when he's online and everything, or even in public, he might seem like a little bit like rough around the edges, but I'm the one that everybody has to like put in a box after he's like, oh no, David's gonna say something stupid.
No, it's not that you say something stupid, David. It's the fact that you make shit awkward, right? When he came down to visit me, Bill, I took him to a game over at Minute Maid Park. And that fanny pack that he wears?
Yeah.
He wore it to the ballpark. They made him take it off and open it up so they can inspect it, right? And I'm like sitting there going, and it's an older black woman that's standing over there watching her coworker go through the bag or his fanny pack. And she looks at me and I was like, you ever see me wear some shit like that to the ballpark, just ban me. Like I get questions about, is David wearing that fanny pack? I'm like, yep. And they're like, why? It makes him look so old. And I'm like, it's the magic that is David. I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, David that's funny right there. I mean, to me, the only thing that they're missing are their names tattooed on their knuckles.
Well,
oh yeah,
I did that. Larry Kudlow earlier today, he started calling them the Doge brothers, and everyone started cracking up. So I used Grok and I said Elon and Vivek dressed as the Blues Brothers, and that's what came up.
That is awesome. The internet does not disappoint. That is great.
That's why Brandon Herrera is a Marine veteran with 2 Purple Hearts.
The Blues Brothers?
No, okay. There's a joke on that. If you follow Unsubscribed Podcast, which Eli made a joke about him having a Purple Heart. Brandon Herrera never served in the military. And he goes out and tells everybody, I've never served in the military. I don't have any of this stuff. But because the AI believes that you can pull up photos of Brandon Herrera that look real with him wearing dog tags, a full sleeve of medals and everything. And he is literally hates it. He's like, I don't want to it's not stolen valor. I don't want it. They forced it onto me. He's forced valor. It's so hilarious.
Yeah. I mean,
once you start playing with Grok, you haven't, Johnny, have you?
No, because if you've noticed my X profile, I do not have the check mark because I have not paid for it yet. So,
but
that is something that I'm going to do after the first of the year.
You can ask it.
No. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it on yours. You can do it on mine, the Angry Me production.
I get all that, David, but I'm feeling left out. Like I figured out.
No, I gave you the information to begin with, so you can mess around on X and everything.
Yeah, I've got my own page. Okay. Don't. I got my own page. It's all good.
Well, once you start using it, the first thing I did was spend a couple of days playing with images, but start using it to ask it legitimate questions. If there's something political, like, can Congress do this and this and this, something bizarre that would take you a long time to try to figure out, just ask it. And it'll come out with a whole thing. So start goofing and then go into really using it.
Okay. Yeah. No, but I do plan on getting, my check mark after the first of the year. So it's something that's in the works, but, and it's just mostly because it's not that I'm cheap. It's that, well, damn it, I've got bills. So.
Yeah.
I had a stupid reason for getting the check mark. I had a moderator who went full never Trumper. I mean, full. And you never go full, but he went full. He's stage 4, late stage. And as he left as my moderator and we started talking on Twitter, I wanted to do my epic level long form replies to him. So I got the blue check mark so I could do pages of replies, which is totally useless with a never Trumper, because all he'd do is call me, a Bernie Sanders liberal because I support Trump, and it would just be name calling back. But I got used to the long form posts.
Yeah. Shortly after the election, somebody very near and dear to me went long form and then promptly blocked everybody who thought differently than they did. So yeah, not going to go into big details about it. Not sure I ever will, but in fact, I'm pretty sure and completely sure that I never will, but David knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But, we've already talked about it last month about it.
We did a whole show, talked about it ad nauseum, but
I have two IDs on X, so when they blocked me, I glanced in every once in a while at some of the people who blocked me. My former moderator, I refused to even look at his posts because they went total nuts. I mean, for 15 years, we had, if something came up, Media Matters, we'd talk about that. Oh, look at how the idiots do that. Well, when he went full never Trumper, he repeats them.
Yeah, and that's the one thing, people that suffer from terminal cases of TDS, it's the regurgitation of the party line, and it's never. You can see that, what they believe, their beliefs, they don't have any substance to them because it's incredibly transparent. It looks prepared. That you could tell that there's been no time spent to do any kind of research. And
okay, we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon.
Yeah, I quoted Winston Churchill a while back, about, or it wasn't Winston Churchill, it was Mark Twain, about how, it's better to keep your mouth shut than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Yeah, so it's yeah, it's funny, but yeah, we do need to go ahead and land this plane. So, for editing's sake. So
yeah, anyway. Well, not really editing thing for clip.
Yeah, for
clip, big one
like that. Yeah. So,
but I got to freak out for the next couple of hours to try to restore 4,000 tabs that got lost, and my latest backup was a week ago. So there's probably been a couple of hundred tabs since then.
Bill,
huh?
As somebody who feels as though they can trust you, I'm telling you this with all of the kindness and love in my heart. Don't be like a stereotypical woman and have all of those tabs open. Okay, please. 1, your processor will thank me, and 2, your sanity will also, because as a man, we compartmentalize things. Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for watching.
Rat, even with tabs.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Until next time.
Scissor me timber.